Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video on my channel. So in this video, I'm going to have a bit of a quick talk through on my AFK methods of training for Necromancy. Now I've seen a couple of other people do a quick video explaining like how they've trained, what they've trained on, and sort of why they've trained on it for Necromancy. And I thought I'd do the same. It might be similar to others, or it might be slightly different. I've sort of gone with how I felt during the combat training, and to be fair for Necromancy, I'd probably say I've done like a 70-30 split of AFK combat rather than rituals. And the reason I've done that is because the combat side is way more AFK, I have videos to edit, I have people to please, or you guys. So because of that, I've really not done rituals because I would miss out on the random events which give you the most XP. So in terms of the setup, till sort of like level 70 and I could get the Death Dealer armour, this is the setup I rocked. The only slight difference is sort of level 50 onwards, I traded out the Ghost Hunter body and the Ghost Hunter legs for an anima of Slithgate top and bottom. I decided to sell them because they were a high price and I had the Death Dealer robes anyway. But in terms of the items, it was Ghost Hunter top, bottom, legs and backpack. Again, these were a fantastic sort of item to get because it had damage on the items, the monsters I was going to kill, extra accuracy increase and really beneficial as well. If you don't have this, you get it from items such as Spectres, another form of like ghostly monsters you're going to kill. To be fair, during your necromancy like training, very high chance you'll get these as drops anyway. Other items which I found were very useful, Wen book or any form of god book you had, again, might be a bit sort of overkill for the early stages, but it would provide a benefit if you did have them. Silverhawk boots, hybrid boots again till like level 70, very good, provided like a decent amount of damage. Death Touch Bracelet, again, if you didn't have this or you didn't have sort of GP to cover that sort of buy, I would just do something like Barrow's Gloves. Any form of hybrid gloves. Cinders you could use, but you don't really want to poison bosses or monsters because that would take XP away from you. And a Ring of Death because I AFK, so, you know, that's just me. But again, Ring of Death, very much not needed. You can downgrade that as well. Blood Fury of Ami comes in sort of more of a higher level sort of tier monsters. So a Salve Ami is definitely what you'd want to be training on. Until my opinion would be at least level 90. If you are a lower level though and don't have access to Soul Split, this is very viable. However, it's slightly expensive as an upkeep. However, if you look at any of the money making methods I've done for Necromancy, making via rituals and other stuff, definitely make the money for it. And it's definitely very worthwhile for the ability to AFK. So again, up to you guys on what you want to do in a setup, and obviously the highest tier of the Skull Lantern and the Death Guard as you can have. In terms of items which I've found massively beneficial are as follows. Penance Powder allows you to fully utilize Vampirism, and Vampirism is what will help you get your HP back. If you're praying protections, it's what is very much worthwhile doing. But Penance Powder, for the price it currently is as well at the minute, 600k, makes things massively AFK and very much worthwhile. Exoplasm is what you're going to need. Depending on the monster, the attuned Exoplasmator is very, very nice because it will give you some passive prayer XP. And if you have the ability to combine it with a bone necklace, admittedly I haven't much, it's more to like bury the ashes and clean my drops up. It's very nice to have. Gem Bag, this is more for the higher tier stuff and the Absol Demons I've been doing, but that's very nice, a little bit of extra GP. Emergency brews or emergency forms of food, because sometimes you will get slapped up and I can't describe why, but you just do. Excalibur, if you do not have this, especially the enhanced version which does heal you, definitely get it. It is one of the best pure items to get on any form of account. Nowadays, the Sears Achievement Diary, it's not really that hard to get. Maybe a few quests, maybe a bit of skills, but again, if a skill is going to cost you money on the channel and with Necromancy, plenty of money makers to make the money back to do so. Same with buying an Ancient Ritual Shard for the prayer as well, very, very beneficial. Spring Cleaner, you can reclaim some money and get some money back from all the items you're going to get as drops. You can crush anything or you can turn it into extra invention components, which again, make some money off. Very worthwhile doing. Bunyip is the OG and the absolute best familiar for the AFK training. The bossing side or the higher tier sort of XP monsters, the Blood Reaver does outshine it a bit. However, but for pure AFK and chilledness, you cannot beat the Bunyip. The Bunyip is number one. And as well, your best form of boosting potions for me, Elder Overloads. You could use a Super Necromancer Potion, Extreme Necromancer Potion, or just a Based Overload. Any form of boosting will give you more damage, more DPS, and more kills per hour. Aggression Potions, again, very pricey, but they just bring massive level of AFK and very much just laid back approach to it all. And even though the penance powder will pretty much cover you off, if you needed a little bit more prayer potion, a super prayer renewal will cover both a prayer potion dose and also a renewal for 5 minutes. Timed illumination ritual shard will pretty much mean on most tasks you do not need to use anything at all. So this would have been my lower tier setup up until level 70 when I could change for Death Dealer robes. With the robes, every 10 levels, same with the weapons, I will upgrade to the next tier. And then that way, through the tiers, you notice considerably like how much less damage you're going to take. Me personally, I went for the power armour rather than the tank armour. But again, it's whatever you feel comfortable with and what you want to do. You have full control of your character, so you can pick whatever works best for you. So I'm just going to go to war now, and I'm just going to go and change into my higher tier setup. But again, this is what I would use for like the lower tier up to level 70. If you are struggling a little bit, you do have a chance to change to Anima Gate. I think it's sort of gone down in price again, but this setup did me very well for like the monsters I killed anyway. Some other notes though, especially in the lower tier setup, the Solve Amulet is very worth doing, but make sure it's E because it'll give you a bigger bonus as well. Other things, Cinders, Wet Poison will just take XP away from you. If you think you need it, by all means use it. It just means you'll get slightly less XP. And any form of God Books can give you a little bit of boosted damage. Again, similar to the potions, it will give you less XP, but for the monsters you generally use the Wick Book on, they are very much worthwhile. So, going to the higher tier of setup, this is pretty much what we're rocking, although I have made a slight change. So, for the high tier is when I introduced the Amulet of Blood Fury. This was for Abyssal Savages, which again, I'll show you very soon. And it's a game changer, especially if you're protecting from melee, which I am here. It heals so much. Admittedly, 15 mil for a blood shard is quite pricey, but at some point I'm sure we'll go and take Necromancy to Enemus, see what it's like, and hopefully reclaim quite a few for ourselves. When it's 18 mil, or whatever price I paid for it, it's definitely worth doing them. Pretty much same setup as if I did the lower stuff. Those items really did like come in clutch and stuff. The Excalibur is really if you are struggling, the Bunyip will oversee you, and the Bruiser just for an emergency. You could bring Sharks, but then I think it's taking up some invo space, you can put some drops in. Now the monsters I'm going to talk through are mainly in my personal Slayer dungeon. You do not have to have that. If you level 99 Slayer, by all means definitely utilise it. It is one of the best updates in terms of Slayer, having your own like personal dungeon to kill stuff. However, now some of the monsters I'm going to show you, they're not going to be as crowded as when they were on release. Like people really are at a higher tier of Necromancy now, so you don't need to worry about like spots being crowded. If they are crowded, give it a couple world hops and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find another world where you can kill in peace and quite efficiently. But anyway, let's get started. So in terms of when I first started combat, I waited till about level 30. Level 30, wrong teleport. Level 30 is when I started to move into combat. Before then, I did the trolls till level 20 on the City of and then did the rituals for like the weapons and all the other bits and a couple of quests to get to level 30. So then I went to my pyramid. Again, I had to teleport to the house and then go on the boat over because I've not done the souls. If you've done the requirement for the souls, you will have a teleport to the pyramid via the codex. I have not. So in we go. Now there is one monster we're missing at the minute, but again, I'll talk through what you can do for that. So to start with, what I killed was just normal banshees. In terms of this, I probably killed these till level 60. Level 60, they were just AFK, very chilled, very laid back. And again, for all these, if you really wanted to, admittedly, you might spend a little bit of Slayer points. You can tie up together with a Slayer task. Because you've got the solve, I don't think the two stack, so it wouldn't be beneficial anyway. But if you want to do some Slayer XP while doing Necromancy training, especially with your personal Slayer dungeon ones, that is an option if you wanted to do it. But you're risking cancelling a lot of tasks to make sure you're getting your Necromancy tasks, is what I'm saying. But again, did these to level 60, very like AFK, as we all were, and very chilled out. We got the souls from the Canifist Slayer dungeon, but now I imagine it's a lot more quieter than normal. These were a little painful until about level 50, and then that's when I started like really like having the abilities and the damage, polishing off quite quick. From about 60 to level 75-ish, I did the Shadow Warriors. Now these are the warriors which are in the Dungeon and the Legends Guild. Again, very AFK. What I would suggest with these two as well, they're in big rooms. Now the room which is closest to the door is a lot smaller and there will be a lot more crowded and a lot more around you. So if you wanted to do that and utilize just that room, I wanted the availability to go back and kill the other monsters if I struggled with the newer one. So that's why I pretty much left them there. And then from about level 70 to 75 to 80, 85, I did Anakus. The Anakus are the one which aren't here because I've replaced them with the next creature. I probably did that definitely till 85, maybe even 90, you know. Just because when I got to 90, I did struggle with bound skeletons. Anakus I got from the Stronghold of Security. Again, not very hard to get. Pretty decent room, like if you were just going to go kill them in a stronghold. Very close together, very small room, and will be a very much great AFK task. One thing I would say about Anakus is they drop Mystic Cloths, so if you do go there, make sure to take the note paper and you'll make a nice little bit of money from that. And something else I forgot to mention as well, with the tool belt, before you kill any of these monsters, make sure to look at what they drop. So the bound skeletons in particular drop Garly seeds, which I probably racked up something like 2,000, which is just a bit of money, just to pay off the cost of potions and stuff, which is very nice. So especially like herb collectors, seed collectors, just check what your tool belt says and what you've got them collecting, because they'll be very decent. So finally, the second last monster was bound skeletons. These are from the new Fraught for Infantry quest. Again, you can get the souls just outside of the new dungeon entrance. Now, I had a little bit of problem with these originally. So when I first started, I really struggled to make it AFK. They would give me a lot of damage, and they were pretty much hand my ass to me quite often. And that's when I upgraded to the tier 80. Once I hit tier 80 and I got the tier 90 weapons, didn't struggle as much then. And again, I added things in like the Kiln Cape and the Blood Fury recently as well, and the Bunyip and stuff like that, and it wasn't any issues at all. So again, made it a lot more AFK, made it a lot easier, less painful. And then finally, the last monster, which I think is going to be the monster I'm going to train on now till 200 mil. It was pretty much a choice between Abyssal Savages and Abyssal Beasts. Now, I'm going to go for Savages. Again, I've got the souls in the bank, I've just not put them in my slave dungeon yet. And the reason I've gone for Savages is because they just didn't hit you up as hard as what Beasts did. There was points like Beasts, I pretty much died, which is why my Ring of Death is such a low charge, is because the Beast just did slap you up. So to get there, it is the Sinistine and the Pontificax Shadow Ring teleport, go into the Asylum. You can actually get here via the Abyssal Mask now, which is very nice. And this person here can just demonstrate. So the Abyssal Beast Savages are 111 combat, very AFK. The Spring Cleaner does work on these, and I probably make like 4 to 5 mil an hour just from the Spring Cleaner, which is really nice. It's nice to get some decent GP on the side as well. But yeah, these are fully AFK, nice and easy, and will see me out for the rest of my training. So very nice. One item which I've been using a lot with the auras. So Vampirism is pretty much what I use for all of my Necromancy. The Premier Artifacts for the free reroll, and also you have the aura refreshes. I've been pretty much chugging through my aura refreshes, which I've got stocked up. If I'm off aura and I don't have any refreshes, or I don't want to refresh, that's when I'll go and do rituals. But for the majority of my training now, I definitely do the Necromancy sort of AFK training with combat. A few other little tips as well. You can always do a campfire before you go, gives you more HP, makes it more AFK. And go and check war, because if you've got quite a lot of Marks of War stocked up, you can buy a nice big stock of aura refreshes, which means you've got plenty more Vampirism auras, just so you can continuously train Necromancy if you wanted to do the combat set. Now, I've got 175k Marks of War. I'm pretty sure I'm going to spend them all on this, because it will just make my Necromancy training more AFK. You can use Viswax, but obviously that is a cost. If you've got marks are free, use them, and that should be able to see through the majority of your training, depending on how many marks you've got. But yeah, that's just my little video of my Necromancy training. That's just what I've been doing. Obviously, things like rituals I'll throw in. I've been doing stuff like Hermod as well. That will be in there as well. But for the majority of it, I've just been AFKing and editing videos. So it works out well for me. Admittedly, I'm not absolutely near like top tier XP. I'm nearly 102, but it's all been AFK and I've paid no real attention to it. But I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, please leave me a like, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next video.